Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with your Misiura. Today I'm going to tie an orange stimulator. I had a request for a video on this, and the hook that I have in the vise, this is a Maruto hook. This is a streamer hook. It's small, but it's a streamer hook. This is a size 10, and that's like 2 extra long. I'm just going to use a dark thread here. This is 70 denier 8/0, and it's olive, but the color of the thread doesn't really matter as that greatly. We're going to put a base of thread down, and you notice I started up maybe a half an eye width back. We're going to put the base of thread down to where the thread will hang at the barb of the hook. Stimulators mostly represent stone flies, but they're great attractor patterns too, and they're great flies for using a dropper underneath. They also will represent a grasshopper very nicely, and I gotta trim that off. They'll also represent a grasshopper very nicely, and you can use the hopper dropper. I'm at where it's hanging at the barb. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a small pinch of sulfur orange dubbing, and this is what I'm going to make the body with, the orange. You can actually use an orange yarn for the body, but I'm going to, on a lot of stimulators, they use a deer hair for the tail. I'm going to use Goose Biot, so I'm going to just make a ball right at the back there, and what that's going to do is help keep the biots divided. These are some nice dark ginger or brown biots. Just take that biot and roll it, and you'll get 2 of them. Put them right between those fingers and pull them off. And then we're going to use the natural curve in there. Actually, I got 2 of them right here, so I'm going to take them apart. But we're going to use that natural curve to help keep them separated also. Put that curve with the concave side towards me, or towards the outside. We're going to make that tail maybe about half the length. I'd say no more than half. And tie it in and pinch it right against that. Pinch it against that ball of dubbing. Take the other one, concave side towards the outside, and then if you look on the front, you can see you could match them up easily by looking at the front. You can see where they peeled off the stem, and there we have a nice wide tail. Just secure those, and I'm going to trim off that excess. And I'm going to bring my thread back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a rib, and this is a gold wire. This isn't extra fine, but it's fine gold wire. This is not going to add any more weight. This wire or your rib is not going to cause your fly to sink. And I'm going to stay at the back there. I'm going to turn my vise upside down so I can dub easier. And I'm going to dub the sulfur orange dubbing And on this one, I'm not skimping on the dubbing. We do want that to have a nice fatter body. It's probably going to take a couple of noodles to do this. Then I'm going to wrap it, and I'm going to start, whoop, got the point, come back just to make sure that that bottom is closed up from the thread, and we can form that body. This one's a little bit skinny, but it'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more dubbing on my thread, and we're going to continue wrapping. Like I said, it's going to take a couple dubbing noodles. Go for another one. And we'll wrap this. Then we're going to stop it there. We're about 2/3 of the way up. Now, for the body hackle, I'm going to use a furnace hackle. If you don't have furnace, you can use a ginger hackle. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stand them up at the 90 degree, and I'm going to give it the haircut. And I'm going to tie this in with the concave side to the shank. Bring my thread right back to that point again. And you can see I still have a little bit of the crew cut showing, so I'm going to go right around. And now I'm going to palmer it towards the rear. But I'm not going to make large spaces. I want to keep them, now you want to keep them about 1/8 of an inch. And you bring this back. Oh, and let me back that one off. Try that again. And I want to get one more wrap there. Now I'm going to hold this. I'm going to take my rib, and I'm going to start winding my rib. And kind of palmer this forward, but kind of wiggle it to keep it so you don't trap down too many or any of the hackle barbels. Just kind of wiggle it as you go through. And we'll get that right up to the front. And I can tie it off there. You can tie this by attaching the hackle to the rear and then just winding it forward, but one thing that's going to happen is your hackle is likely to go pointing forward. I'm going to take my nail clippers and remove that wire nice and close. Then I can take my poke and snip and take the excess hackle off. Now we're going to, I want to make sure I have that wire secured. I'm going to take my deer hair, or you can use elk hair, but you want a deer hair that's not going to spin really easy. Taking my comb here, flea and tick comb, take the short hair out of it, put it in your hair stacker. Gonna just tap it on my knuckle here. Then I lift it a bit and then tap it and then take it out. By lifting it and then tapping it again, you have more sticking out the back so you can grab onto it. I got one long one there. Now we want our tail, our wing, to go to, you know, about where the tail is, as long as the tail. I'm going to take this, I'm going to trim this. And we're going to tie this in. Go lightly, and then you can tie it harder as you get away from the wing. You see how that flared up there? So basically what I'm going to do, since I have a lot on there, I'm just going to take that bunch off there, and I'm just going to get rid of those. Have it nice and flat. Now I'm going to take a Grizzly Hackle. So here we got a good piece here. There's a lot of web here, so I'm going to go up and we're going to start it around where the web is no more than 1/3. I'm going to stand these up. I'm going to trim that off and give it the crew cut. We're going to tie this in right here, concave side to the shank. There we go. Now I'm going to take an amber colored dubbing. This is almost rust, but an amber colored dubbing, and I'm going to dub the head. You can use a superfine, an amber colored superfine, or an amber colored hare's ear, just as long as you get that different color. And I'm going to tie this in. I want to make sure that I get it right to on the bottom there. Then we're going to keep our thread. Oh, back that off. Got a little bit messed up. I'm just going to add just a little bit more. I always say you can always add more. Bring that to the middle there. There we go. And keep that thread almost an eye width away. This one I'm going to have to put my hackle pliers on. I'm going to take a wrap right there. Make sure I get one whole turn. And then I'm going to just palmer this through. Make sure I got one whole turn. And now it's going to want to fall off. That's why I kind of give it 2 on each. Let me back that one up. Give it almost 2 on each. You see how it wants to fall off on me here. I'm going to bring it down. There we go. Now I'm going to tie this in. Try to keep that hackle at a 90 degree to the hook shank, and you won't have as many hackles shooting forward. And we're going to pull everything back and wrap in front of it. Got a couple of them shooting forward. Now I'm going to remove that hackle. And I'm going to try to pull those back with my fingers, because this hook eye is large and I can't get the half-hitch tool doesn't go over it. I'm going to take the half-hitch tool and I'll show you. The hole isn't quite large enough. Once, twice. That's as far as it wants to go, so you can't push the hackle back. I'm going to finish it off with my whip finish. Trim that thread. Going to put some head cement on there. I see I have one sticking out forward. There we go. Get some head cement on there. And with the head cement, I'm not going to skimp a lot on it. I want to get a pretty decent coating on there so that it will seep in and kind of get that deer hair a little bit. And now, since I put so much head cement on there, I'm going to take a feather, just one laying on the desk, and just stick that through the eye, and your eye is clear. And here we have an orange stimulator. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase this fly or any flies that I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And if you don't see it there, just send me a message and we'll figure it out. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.